host Ashley Hodge. And I tell you what, I don't know if we're going to have a podcast all year as exciting as this when we are here with all three members of what's probably going to be the most historic and most ballyhooed recruiting class in Baylor history. I'm talking about Langston Love and Kendall Brown and Jeremy Sohan all the way from Germany joining us today. And guys, thanks so much for being on. We're excited, as more excited than you can even imagine about you guys coming to Baylor. I know you're excited too. Just wanted to go through some questions for you here on signing day week. Ashley, I know, is going to kick things off and grill you guys on a couple of topics here.
All right. So first question I've got to ask you guys, and you can see by my shirt, wingspan matters. And I know the three of you have some pretty long wingspans. So let's make sure we start off by asking you about your wingspan. Jeremy, what is it, around 7 feet? Is that correct?
6'11", so pretty close. I'll count as 7 foot for sure. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Langston, what about you?
My wingspan's like 6'9" or 6'10", one of those two.
Oh wow, okay, you're long. Like Maceo Teague, he's another guard that's got a really long wingspan. Kendall, what about you? I know you guys got measured recently.
6'11".
6'11". All right, man. I saw you had some hops too, Kendall. I think you were over 12 feet on the vertical.
Yeah, that's light.
That's crazy, man. That's getting up there. All right, so for my first question for y'all is, give me a couple words that come to mind when you think of Coach Drew. Let's start with Jeremy. Jeremy, when you think of Coach Drew, what are some things that come to mind?
Family, first of all. I've been really close with him and just the whole coaching stuff in general. But loads of energy and just family. I think that those are the main two for sure.
Family and loads of energy. I love it. Langston, what are some?
He's enthusiastic. Like, you're always gonna get most of the time a happy Coach Drew, and he's always gonna have lots of energy when he's talking to you. And then I feel like he's a humble guy because he's done a lot and has a lot of success like throughout his life, and I just feel like he doesn't he just keeps on working, like keeps on pushing for more and more. So he's not he just doesn't settle for what he's already done.
I love it. And Kendall, what's your thoughts? What would you add to that?
I'd say like a player's coach for sure. High energy, follower of Christ, which is big. So say about him.
Okay, you broke up for a second there. You said player's coach, and then what'd you say after that?
So he has high energy, and he's also a follower of Christ.
Okay, awesome. Jason, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, Langston, you kind of kicked things off with this recruiting class and really kind of started all the excitement. Why did you decide to kind of pull the trigger when you did, and why ultimately did Baylor was Baylor the school for you? I know you had a big list of suitors.
Well, with AAU being canceled and all that, I just felt like where I was in my recruiting was where I was going to be. And like, there was nothing that was really going to change like that. And I also felt like Baylor was the first school to offer me, and they had offered me like before I even got on the national stage. Mm-hmm. So I felt like they had a lot of faith in me and a faith in my ability and my progression. So I just felt like that was a school for me, and they've been there and always believed in me. So I felt like that was where I needed to go.
When you said they were one of the first schools on you, what do you remember about that? How old were you when they first started coming after you or showing interest? And was it a deal where Coach Drew was one of the only guys in the stands for a while early on, or?
Yeah, that was sophomore year, the beginning of sophomore year, when I had no offers and I was basically a non-known player. And when Baylor came knocking at my door, I was really surprised that they were really even interested in me, because I didn't even know if I was that type of caliber player yet. Mm-hmm. But I was happy they did, and they put a lot of faith and trust in me. So I just felt like that was good.
Yeah. And Kendall, I know that you and Langston had gotten to know each other a little bit. And if I recall, once you saw him commit, that really helped your interest level grow. Is that accurate? Tell me what that was like.
Yeah, I really liked Baylor for a while, and then when I seen like Langston and Jeremy commit, I was like, this is gonna like push me like go like make the jump because all this COVID and stuff. I just wanted to cut it and just get it over with. So when I seen them commit, I was like, yeah, I want to play with them, talk to my family, and just make
Yeah.
the jump.
You said they were already on your radar. What was it about Baylor besides those two guys that was really, drawing your interest?
Uh, like if I would say the style of play and just the relationship with the coaches, like my dad and Nunez used to play with each other back in Minnesota, so they go way back, and it's just like the whole relationship part of it was big.
And Jeremy, what about you? I know that the coaches had been talking to you for a long time and are so impressed with your style of play. What did they do to convince you that Baylor was going to be a good spot for you?
Like the season getting cancelled and AU getting cancelled and everything was stand still and everything, but I thought it was better for me to commit early because I didn't know if I was coming back to America or whatever was going to happen. So I mean, every coach was really close to me, and the energy they gave me and what they offered me was great for me and my family. So that's why I decided to commit to Baylor.
All right, so I want to ask you guys if there's one talent outside of basketball that people would be surprised to hear that you have, what would that talent be? Kendall, we'll start with you. What's the one thing that you can do that there might be surprising to the people that, watching this podcast?
I'm a pretty good artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm making some good drawings, here and there.
What do you draw? Do you draw people? Do you draw scenery, or what's your specialty?
Just pretty much anything, Took art class last year, and that's when I just knew that, I was an artist. I was drawing like cartoon characters and all that stuff.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite cartoon character? Like what do you guys watch? Like I grew up in Jason and I probably were the Scooby Doo, Flintstone age.
Looney Tunes, yeah.
What do you
Futurama.
watch in cartoons? Like when you were a kid, what would you watch?
Futurama.
Futurama, yeah. Langston, let me ask you, like what's a talent that you have outside of basketball?
I would just say that, I grew up playing soccer, so I feel like my ability to like juggle a soccer ball, I feel like that's what many people don't know I can do. Stuff like
It's not
like
soccer.
Yeah,
Football.
soccer.
Football.
Football.
Okay, we got a European weighing in on that. Jeremy, what about you? What's your talent?
I feel like my fashion's a talent.
Yeah.
I think I got some fashion.
Swear
Sure.
you got drip.
Yes, sir.
Like you, are you, when you say fashion, is it, not just clothing, but do you have like do you try to tidy up your house in a certain way or your room, or is it mainly just clothing, what you wear?
Really just clothing for now, but maybe I'll evolve or something. But right now it's just clothing and shoes for sure.
You got a pretty popular. Have you heard of this Fixer Upper that's in Waco, Texas? Chip and Joanna Gaines. Has that crossed your radar at all?
They don't know about the Fixer Upper yet.
I used to watch that.
Oh,
show
okay.
on
Yeah,
HGTV.
It's one of the most popular home improvement shows in the world, and it's based in Waco, Texas. And the Baylor graduates that are the people that put that on. So I wondered if that had crossed your radar, Jeremy.
Since we're asking kind of off the court questions, I know you guys, staying healthy and keeping your body in good shape is a huge thing to becoming an elite player. But if you're going to have one of those cheat meals on a Friday or Saturday night, where are you going, Langston? What's your spot? You're a Texas guy. Are you a Whataburger guy? What are you going to do if you're having a bad meal every now and then?
I would probably say I'm a Whataburger guy. I like the patty melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good right there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Kendall, what about you? You have any food that you're drawn to?
Canes and McDonald's.
Yeah. How's the food in Germany, Jeremy? Y'all eat different stuff or?
It's a lot different than like America. There's barely any fast food shops. It's crazy. Like in America you got everything, but like in Germany all you have is McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC and Subway. That's it. So I'll just go to KFC or McDonald's.
I got you.
But in America I went to many places.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Baylor basketball legend Quincy Acey was a huge Raising Cane's fan.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. My next question for you is, I'm going to make this a little difficult because we're going to exclude the taller guys. I know all three of you are over 6'3", but if you're going to pick one NBA player that you're going to build a team around that's under 6'3", who would you pick? Langston, I'll start with you. Who's your go-to short guy to build an NBA team around?
I'd probably have to say CP3. Chris Paul, yeah, he's a great passer. He can also finish and get you baskets when you need to, but he also gets everybody involved. And he's a good leader, and he's a very great vocal communicator. Yeah.
He's the first one that came to my mind. I had some better choices after I thought about it, but he's the very first guy that came to my mind. Kendall, what about you? Who would you pick?
Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson, old school. Okay. Why Allen?
Just he's that dog,
Yeah.
Just straight bucket. I would want to build my team around him.
Competitiveness, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy, who's your choice?
I was literally about to say Chris Paul as well. I mean he's a leader and he's a he passes the ball first, and I mean he's a great player as well. So CP3.
Got it. Yep.
When I watch tapes of you guys, the one thing I love and it gets me really excited is I think all y'all bring a different kind of skill set and to Baylor, and you're all good at so many different things. But Langston, what's the thing that you pride yourself in the most, in your game? And if you were going to describe what you're really good at, what would it be? And also, what would be one thing that you're really hoping to improve on, before you get to Baylor?
I feel like my defense is one of the things that I pride myself on, and also being efficient and making every shot count, whether if I miss it or not. Trying to just keep a very efficient style of play. And then something I need to work on, I would say, is I really say I just want to become a more consistent shooter, like a knockdown shooter, where somebody, like, if they leave me open, then they already know it's gonna go in type of shooter. Just
Okay. What about you, Kendall?
I'd say defense and my ability to find people, get them open, and just make everyone else around me better by finding them or kicking it up to them. So I would say most around everything, and then I just need to improve on my shot and be able to knock down shots.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about what you just said about making everyone better, because whenever people talk about you, that's what they say is, you take just as much pride as in an assist or a steal, or as you do a basket, or you're just as happy when your teammate scores as you are when you score. How did you get to be that way? How did that mind frame develop in you?
Since I was young, I always played up with my brother 2 years ahead, so I was never really the dominant scorer. I was always just the dude to find my brother and find the older kids. So just growing up, I always been the person to pass first and find the open person instead of taking a bad shot.
Right. And when you talk about shooting and wanting to improve your shot, what are you doing right now, or what will you be doing, to work on that? Do you take a certain number of threes a day, or kind of what's your routine when it comes to working on that?
Yeah, just getting lots of shots every day, fixing my form to get a higher arc, and just working on that every day, putting up lots of shots in practice and after practice.
Gotcha. What about you, Jeremy? How would you assess your game right now?
I think I play good defense, 1 through 4. I can switch. That's what I pride myself in. But also, playmaking for myself, but especially for my teammates. I feel like I can see the court really well. My IQ's up there. But I also think I need to improve my shot. But I think this last few months I've really improved that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, in general, I just need to consistently improve my game.
All around.
Wherever that's, yeah, exactly, all around. So, I'm just trying to do everything.
Well, tell me what that's like for you right now in Germany, and like kind of what you're doing, and maybe how your days when it comes to practice and preparation might be different than they would be over here in the US.
I think here I've got a lot more individual practices. I think they put a lot more detail into footwork and different types of shots and going off screens, different types of screens. So I feel like I've improved a lot, like IQ wise, because I know a lot more. And also playing with like older people, they've been through college leagues, like pro leagues. So just learning a lot from different types of players and people. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
and along that line, I wanted to back up to and ask Langston and Kendall about their prep schools, because I know that they're at two of the best places in the United States for really grooming players and getting them ready for the next level. Langston, what's it like for you at Mount Verde this year and last year? Why do you think that was a good decision?
I feel like it was a good decision because I wanted to go somewhere where I knew I would have to compete every day, and like where I know, like, if I go into practice and I'm not going as hard as I can, then somebody else is gonna make me look bad or make me have to fight and keep going. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it was also a good decision because I got to play with Coach Boyle. Coach Boyle, he teaches the game in many different ways and teaches you all the aspects, and not really just about yourself. He teaches you about everything, every position, and different ways to guard and different ways to be a better offensive player. So I just feel like he's a great coach.
Kendall, what about you? Tell us about where you are and why it's working so well.
Yeah, pretty much. I knew that I needed to get ready for college, and coming here last year was just gonna give me get me ready sooner, because I'll be here for 2 years, and it's just you wake up every day and you're just competing against people with the same goals as you at the same age and stuff. So, and like at my old high school, I don't think I was like getting pushed as hard as I wanted to, but here, like, you have to come ready every day and compete, and the players around you are going to make you better as well.
Yeah.
Kendall, one thing I've noticed is when I look at Instagram videos and following, you guys, as much videos that have been put out on all three of you, I've noticed you always have a Baylor shirt on, it seems. Are you, I know Grady Dick is a player that Baylor's recruiting. Are you trying to talk to other players and set the stage for trying to convince them to come to Baylor?
Yeah, of course. He lives in my house here, so I'm always recruiting him. So I think we'll get him here. I think he's leaning towards us.
Awesome. All right, so let me ask you this question. I'll start with you, Kendall. When you looked at Baylor and you felt like it's a good fit, obviously Scott Drew's been there a long time. This is his 18th year. They're ranked #1 this year. He's built a monster program. He's got it rolling. But, a lot of times it's like the fit is very important. And so when you envision yourself playing for Baylor, were there some players in the past, like a Taurean Prince or a Royce O'Neal, these wings that you said, okay, I see myself fitting into this program, and with the development of players, I think that this is my future? Were there any players that come to mind when you think of why Baylor was a great fit for you?
Yeah, for sure. Those two players definitely. Whereas I could be show my athleticism and my skills to take the next step. That's what I pretty much watched.
Right. Now, and I talked to your coach. I know Jason talked to each of you on signing day, but I had interviews with each of your coaches, And one thing your coach said, I think there was a comparison to Scottie Pippen or Mikal Bridges for you, that you just do a lot of great things. He said you're one of the best players he's ever seen off the ball, that you're always moving. You do a great job of, moving without the ball. You don't need the ball in your hands to be successful. Are there any players that you model your game after?
I'll say I just take from like a lot of players. I like to watch Kawhi, LeBron, Tatum,
Right.
and a bunch of those players. But yeah, I was probably say most of them.
Very good. Langston, I'll throw that question to you. Were there any players in Baylor's past that you said, yeah, this is a guy that has a similar skill set to me, and I can see myself fitting into this particular role within Baylor's program?
I just see all the guards that Baylor has that they've had in the program. I like seeing how Jared Butler progresses, and then I see how Davion Mitchell is and Maceo Teague. And I all see that they all have great bodies that have been built and worked for throughout the years at Baylor, and how much they've progressed through their upping their skill set and making the right plays and having the right IQ through things. So I just feel like those are the three guys that I've seen that really helped my decision, I guess. Yeah.
Right. And likewise, I talked to Coach Tim, and he said Buddy Hield and Eric Gordon were two guys that came to mind when trying to describe how you play. Or do you feel like those two guys are decent comparisons for you, or players that you want to try to emulate?
Yes, sir, I do. I feel like those two. I watched some of them, Buddy Hield, Eric Gordon, and I also like to look at Bradley Beal and players like that, just who are similar to my body type and my size.
Right. Now I know, Jeremy, I think your coach, and even I know yourself, you don't like the comparisons as much, but when you look at some of the Baylor roster in the past, who have you seen that you think, hey, this is a guy I can relate to?
Royce O'Neal. I mean, I watched him as well in the bubble, and he's great. I mean, he plays all around. He does a little bit of everything, and that's what team needs. And also Prince. So
yep.
I do watch those, but like you said, I like watching everyone and taking little things of everyone and creating myself. So
right.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite player in the NBA?
Yeah, probably KD, Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
for sure.
You guys talk a lot, whether it's on Zoom or on the phone. Now that you're all three future Baylor Bears, I mean, has that enhanced your relationship? How much are you communicating, Jeremy? Have you gotten to know these guys at all?
No, I've been snapping them and using Instagram to talk to them, but it's a little bit difficult on my side as well. The time difference and everything, but we're trying to get close, and it's only a few months and we're going to be together, so it's exciting.
Awesome. Well, guys, we appreciate your time today, and I'm going to ask each of y'all one last question. It was something Ashley came up with, and then we'll let you go. But if you had to look back kind of on your life and your career up to this point, what's the kindest, nicest thing anyone's ever done to you or said to you? What's anything stick out? Jeremy, you can start it off since we were on with you.
I mean, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. I mean, there's loads of things that people said to me which are really kind and everything. But a few weeks ago, I was pretty ill, and this lady was really helpful, and she cooked for me and bought me some juices and everything. So I just really appreciate how nice she was to me, and she took her own time to care for me.
Yeah.
While my family are out in a different country, so it's great.
Is there someone that you credit the most for getting you to where you are right now, basketball wise? Someone that's guided you and kept you going when things got tough?
I've always been close to my mom, and also she played basketball, so I can go to her outside of basketball, but also with basketball, and she helps me a lot. Yeah. So definitely my mom.
Great. What about you, Kendall? Kindest, nicest thing anyone's ever done for you or said to you?
Most recent would probably be, this was last year. I was like really close to missing my flight, and we like got in the airport, and this is to get back to school. And there was this huge line, like one of the longest it's ever been. And the lady let me like skip all that and go to the front to make my flight.
Yeah.
So I was pretty thankful for that.
As a frequent traveler, I can imagine how good that felt. But what about when who you really credit for your progression and development? Who do you want to thank the most for it?
I'll say my dad. He's been there, just helping me ever since the beginning, since I was little, because he had like the same me, and he wanted to help me get to it. And I'll just say him, and then my mom and my aunt, and my brother.
Yeah,
it's my whole family.
Yeah. Langston, is there a moment or act of kindness that's happened in your life that really jumps out? Something you'll always remember?
I'd say last year, it was in December. I had got the flu. Like, I had a bad flu. I had like 104 fever, and we had an ESPN game, and I had missed it. And there's a lady on campus who's like, she organized our team, but we would consider her the team mom.
Mm-hmm.
She took me to her house and got me out of the dorm and let me have my own room, my own space. And she cooked for me. She actually helped me do my laundry and do a lot of stuff. She did a lot of stuff for me. So I feel like that was a great act of kindness by her.
Yeah, people like that are absolutely great. I know a lot of teams have moms and supporters like that. Who do you credit the most, or who are you most thankful for, I guess, during your rise as an athlete here?
My family. I thank my mom, my dad. My dad always pushes me to another level. And even when I'm doing good, he'll always find, like, I would always think I would never, like, in a way, satisfy his expectations for me. But I just realized that he was just always trying to make me do better, and there's always something I could do better. And then I would say my brother too, because watching him grow up and what he goes through basketball and how he was and what he had to deal with really helped me progress a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, these have all been great answers. It was a great conversation. I don't think it could have gone much better. And like I said earlier, I know Baylor Nation's excited about getting you here. It's going to be an exciting season coming up. So hopefully they'll kind of set the stage for you and have a great year this year. And then you guys will be here the following season, and we won't miss a beat. Ashley, anything else before these guys go?
I just want to make sure you guys know how to do the Sick 'em Bears. Have you had to do that yet? Like, hey, Sick 'em
yeah.
All right, let's do that before we go.
Okay, here we go.
All right,
You lead it out.
Sick 'em Bears. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Jason and I are going to stay on here and talk about this class for a little bit. This is the number 5 rated class right now in the nation by a lot of the prognosticators, but boy, it's hard to find a better class for, if you're trying to win games in college.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys are 3 really bright prospects. And Jason, I know, I got pretty excited when they talked about their wingspan.
Yeah.
6'9", 6'10". These other guys, Kendall Brown and Jeremy Sohan are over 6'11". I mean, that's a lot of length, a lot of versatility. These guys can, guard multiple positions. They can score. I know Langston is a knockdown 3-point shooter, and Jeremy and Kendall are trying to become that. But just a really well-rounded class.
Well, one thing that I was excited as can be before today, and now after that interview and getting to chat with them, I'm even more excited because I just want to point out that we decided to do this last night at about 7:00 and texted all those guys, and I thought the chances of being able to coordinate it this quickly would be pretty slim, but they were so nice to give us their time. And I thought a lot of times, I mean, I'll be honest, I've been a sports writer for 20 years. A lot of times when you're talking to 17, 18-year-old kids that haven't done a lot of media, that they're very shy, they're not very open. But wow, what a great bunch of guys. They were so articulate and thoughtful and well-versed. And, that just gets me even more excited about covering them. So, like I said at the end of the interview, Baylor's going to have this great season coming up. And then a lot of times things fall off. But with these guys, I don't think they're going to, Baylor's going to miss a beat. And I like the fact that they each bring something different to the table. I love the team first kind of attitude that you see from guys like, Kendall Brown, who loves, takes as much pride as in an assist as a basket. I love the fact that Jeremy's getting groomed overseas in Europe, where guys like that usually arrive in college ready from day one. The St. Mary's coach, Randy Bennett, says he loves, foreign players because they just kind of teach them different things over there that make them more college ready. I think he'll be ready to contribute quickly. And Langston Love, I think he's just got to have some dog in him. He's got a presence about him when you talk to him that makes me think it's going to really translate onto the court. He's got a confidence. I love the fact that he's very cognizant of not only where he is as a player, but what he needs to work on too. So what a great trio, and hopefully they can get some more guys on board and Baylor will keep rolling.
Yeah, I tell you what, I watched Langston live multiple times, and I remember watching him in Dallas-Fort Worth, and some of the top high school players and the top AAU players were there at that Nike EYBL tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling some of the Baylor coaches after that tournament, I was like, if you can ask me who I would want in the 2021 class, Langston Love would be my number one choice. And now Jeremy and Kendall Brown didn't play in that tournament, but you're talking about, multiple top 10 players in that tournament. I mean, the thing I loved about Langston is just the way he carried himself and his competitiveness. I mean, he's able to score. He averages over 21 points a game in Nike EYBL play. And that really translates well for college. And, most of the time, if guys can score in Nike EYBL play, they can be really top level scorers in college. But his defense too. I mean, I remember his coach saying that he's just one of those guys. It's like, who's the best player? I want to cover him. Kind of almost like that Davion Mitchell, mentality of, I'm a dog. I'm gonna make someone feel like they've been in a war for 40 minutes. So I love that about him. I mean, what have you seen from Kendall? Like, as you've watched, I know you haven't seen these guys in person, and I haven't either. But as you watch highlights and film, like, what have you noticed from Kendall and Jeremy?
Yeah, well, with Kendall, I mean, I'm actually friends with an assistant coach for Mocam basketball, which was his AAU team, a good friend of mine. He's been involved in the coaching of guys like, Willie Cauley-Stein and Trey Young and stuff. But the thing he tells me the most about Kendall is just his court vision, his ability to see things before they happen. His just overall all-around game. Now, he says he needs to really work on the shooting, but he will, but other than that, I mean, he's just a guy that sees things so well. And again, just, kind of like I don't want to compare him to Mark Vital physically and what he does, but I mean, I think Mark Vital takes a lot of pride in being a stat sheet guy. Right. Vital wants you to read every line on that stat and be impressed with him, not just the TP, not just the total points. He wants you to look at the steals and the rebounds and the blocks and the assists and all that stuff. And I think that's going to be Kendall. He's going to do a little bit of everything for Baylor. And those are the kind of things he takes pride in. So love that about him. What I like about all three of these guys is they've already made such an impression on these coaches, but I just feel like their ceiling is so high. I think they're still going to get so much better. I mean, they're going to arrive good with the potential to become great. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of babbling now, but I mean, I think that they'll be ready to help, I think, from day one. But I think by the time these guys are sophomores and juniors, they're going to be really something special.
Yeah, I know. Jeremy, John Jacobs was a coach that recruited Jeremy Sohan, and I've been getting some film on him. He's playing against professionals, and he's playing well. He's averaging double figures, close to 10 rebounds. He's blocking shots. He's knocking down threes. I mean, I think sometimes these guys that he's a top 50 recruit, and he left La Lumiere and went to Germany this year. And sometimes they fall off the radar from the national prognosticators, but this guy's a really, really good player. I mean, you couldn't ask for three better recruits to fit Baylor's DNA, to fit their needs. And like you said, I love, both Jeremy and Kendall seem to have this like mindset of wanting to be like a Royce O'Neal or Mark Vidal, just guys that come in and just do whatever it takes to win and help the team get better. Because we're going to have a lot of scorers. We're going to have guys, depending on what happens with Mitchell and Butler next year. But there's going to be guys like Matthew Meyer that can put the ball in the hole, LJ Cryer. And, you got some guys there, Dane Danja. I mean, there's going to be some guys that can put the ball in the basket. So, getting someone that can do some of the things that Mark Vidal does is a crucial thing to continue, the excellence that Baylor basketball's, been on these last 2 years.
Absolutely. And these guys might not even realize how good of a situation they're going to be walking into, because they're going to be given opportunities to play a huge part in that team as freshmen, but there's not going to be so much pressure on them where like, oh, Langston, if you go 2 for 9 tonight, we're going to lose. Or Jeremy, if you turn it over, Kendall, if you turn a few over, I mean, we're going to lose. I mean, like it's going to be a great team. And to me, I think that'll at least allow them to play with a little bit more of a little bit less tension, and they won't be as tight. And I think that'll bring out the best in their game. I mean, it's always good, when you're surrounded by great players, and that'll be the case for them. And it'll really help their development. It'll help the competition in practice. It'll bring the best out of them. And so it's a win-win for everyone.
Well, I tell you right now, so the top 5 classes in the nation, according to 247, Michigan, Florida State, Kentucky, Villanova, Baylor. But I know I'm biased. I wouldn't trade Baylor's class for any of those.
No, I wouldn't.
These guys are going to be the bedrock of what could be a really fun run for Baylor basketball. A continuation of what we've seen the last 2 years, last year, and then obviously Baylor's the #1 team in the nation by a lot of measurements this year. So
that's what's so big about this class is like, so many times when you're looking at basketball teams, you think, 2020-21 is going to be their year. They got to do it then because then so-and-so's leaving, and then, boy, that's got to be the year for them, And I am thinking about this season, but the good thing is like there's not going to be a drop off when you're bringing guys like this in. I mean, this class was key because it's just going to continue that momentum, and that's what's exciting for me. It's not just a time to be excited about Baylor basketball because of the season. It's time to be excited about Baylor basketball because of a long-term future, thanks to these 3 guys coming in, as well as some of the sophomores and juniors and freshmen on the Baylor team now.
Yeah, the coaches at Baylor have done an outstanding job recruiting, and obviously it's been a byproduct of the development of players and winning and just building the right culture. I mean, the culture of the program is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of like the Villanovas, the Gonzagas. I mean, they've just been able to, get high character kids, get older, stay older. Virginia, there's a lot of programs that do it the right way. And I think Baylor is right in that mix of these top programs in the country.
Absolutely. And with that, I need to go because my son has a basketball game today that I'm going to run late for. He's going to probably miss the first quarter now because of punishment because I'm running late. So anyway, I do want to say thanks again, though, to all 3 of those guys, Kendall Brown and Langston Love and Jeremy Sohan, for joining us on short notice. Season's getting closer. Interviews like that get me more and more pumped up, and I know you feel the same way. So until next week, Baylor fans, will have another great guest on, but thanks for joining us on the Sikkim 365 podcast.
And through the Field of 68 network with
Absolutely.
Jeff
Goodman and Rob Doster. That works off to a great start.
Yes. We'll see you next time.
All right, Ashley, take care.